So, you're a police officer. You get dispatched to a call. But the only information you have is that there's a bunch of screaming in the background, somebody yelling they're trying to fight each other and try to stab each other. You don't really have any more details than that. You get on scene, and within 10 seconds of you getting on scene, there is a girl who's running outside trying to stab another girl with a knife. That girl falls to the ground. Then she goes after another female and tries to stab her. What are you going to do? What is going on, everybody? I am Just That Officer, and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, I am a police officer, and I like to give you guys the police perspective on incidents such as this. This is the Bryant incident that happened recently in Columbus, Ohio on April 20th. Unfortunately, Micaiah lost her life in this incident. She's a young 16-year-old girl. It is very sad, and I'm very sorry to the family for this happening. But we're going to break down for the reasons why this happened. So, like I said, what are you going to do? What decision are you going to make? Well, this is what Officer Nicholas Reardon did. He fired 4 shots at Micaiah to stop the threat. What threat? The knife. All right, Micaiah had a knife in her hand. She came running out of the house, charging after one female, which knocked her to the ground, and she attempted to stab her. She then redirected her attention to another young female, which I believe was trying to intervene with that, and tried to stab her. Officer Reardon perceived this, saw the knife, and had to take quick action to stop a threat. If you don't know this, a knife is deadly. Okay, a knife will kill you. So it is a deadly weapon. So officer perceives deadly weapon, officer has to stop the deadly force to protect the life of that other girl. So he makes a quick decision to fire 4 shots. All right, he didn't unload his entire magazine into Micaiah. He started 4 shots to stop the threat, and it stopped the threat. Officers moved in, tried to perform life-saving measures, trying to get her help. Officers secured a scene. I want to point out that I think everybody in this that was involved in this incident, as far as officers, did a fantastic job handling that situation. This officer barely had time to think, and he had no time to ask any questions. All right, he was trying to, and then just fell right into his lap. And people yelling and screaming all around. Of course, it's very upsetting. They just watched this very tragic incident. Everybody's very upset. But they're saying things like it was just a knife, she's just a girl, and so forth. It doesn't matter the race, doesn't matter the sex, doesn't matter the age. What is going on here, the fact of the matter is that she was trying to stab another individual. Right? She was trying to stab another young girl. And that officer had to do what he had to do. So let's say he didn't shoot. All right. Let's say your decision at the beginning of this video was to tase. Okay. So you go to tase and it doesn't work. And she gets a few stabs in, and even just one stab in. And then that girl ends up dying. Tasers need to have good connection to work. All right, so it's not a valuable option there when somebody's life is in danger to use the taser. Same thing with pepper spray. Pepper spray would just burn her eyes, make her even more angry, and she would probably just go swinging around the knife, right? And could get more stabs in other people and so forth. It would just make the scene and situation even more hectic as well. Let's go hands-on. All right, we try to go hands-on. We try to yank her back. Well, she takes that knife and turns it on the officer. Now, they're trying to attack the officer. She's ultimately going to get shot that way too, because the officer is ultimately going to probably pull his firearm, or another fellow officer is going to pull their firearm and shoot that way too. The only logical thing that they could have done here was fight deadly force with deadly force. Deadly force meets deadly force. Policies usually always state that. And that's what we need to go by to protect the life of that other person. Because if he failed to act to protect the life of that other girl and she died, then they would be going after him saying, you failed to act. You failed to stop her from stabbing my daughter. Why did you not do something about it? This is what it's gonna come down to. Why are we trying to battle these sides here? Why don't we just try to understand each other and understand what police are put in this situation and what they have to do to protect the lives of others, right? That's why we are here. We are here to serve and protect. Micaiah was a good girl, 16 years old, had her whole life ahead of her. She just made a very poor decision that day to try to go after 2 people which is attempted murder, and the officer had to make a decision to stop that threat. So not only does that family suffer the loss of this young girl and the tragedy of seeing that happen, but this officer also has to deal with that as well. He has to deal with the fact that he just took a 16-year-old girl's life, and he has to understand that he had to do what he had to do, right? That way it doesn't eat at him, and he might have to go to therapy for this. He should go talk to somebody about this because it's a very tragic incident for him as well. Stop with this sides thing and this hate of spreading hate and these people on social media who have huge platforms, throwing all this stuff out there before there's even any facts because they're just angry because somebody lost their life at the hands of a police officer again, but they don't want to understand the side of the police officer. It's all about understanding both sides of each story. It's not about choosing a side. But alright guys, that's all I have for you. If you guys want to see the actual footage, the Columbus, Ohio Police Department released that footage with a press release recently. I will link it down below so you guys can go check that out. But I do want to point out a comment that I saw on there that really stood out to me that I think sums up this whole situation. This is from the Kid Goey. I recently checked out his channel just briefly to see what he was all about, but he's got 180K subscribers on YouTube, and he's very big into what looks like sports, and specifically basketball, talking about those different kinds of sports. So if you're into that kind of thing, go check out his channel. But here's the comment that he wrote on this video. "This is so sad. The cop literally had 10 seconds to react after getting out of the vehicle before a girl was in danger of being stabbed. He didn't have time to ask questions or anything. It's unfortunate that a black youth was killed, but he also potentially saved a black youth from being stabbed, killed. I wish this played out differently for all parties involved." That is a very true statement, especially that last part. I wish this played out differently for all parties involved. He's not choosing sides. We all wish this worked out differently for everyone involved. We want everyone to go home safely at the end of the day. As police officers, that is our ultimate goal. Well, if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel out to get spread out more further across YouTube, so more people can see this kind of content and understand the police perspective. I'm not saying like it as the incident of this tragic incident. Nobody likes that. But as far as giving you guys the police perspective. So thanks guys. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.